So where do you start with something like that? The Melbourne Ice win their 2015 AIHL season opener with a massive 7-1 victory over the Sydney Ice Dogs. Now remember, 2 years ago the Sydney Ice Dogs won the AIHL championship, but that was 2 years ago and a lot's changed since then for them. They've got a new president, they got a new coach, and then got another new coach. And there were even more changes on the ice. The only remaining players from that 2013 team are Brian Funes. He was given the captaincy this year. Shannon McGregor, who was given the alternate captaincy. Jamie Blazovic, and Alex Stevenson, who spent 2014 playing for the Sydney Bears. And probably the most noticeable change on the ice is the age of the players who are playing for them. In 2013, their average age was 25.7 years. In 2014, it was 25.89 years, so it went up 0.19 of a year. And in 2015, the average age went down to 22.89, so they've lost an entire 3 years on average across the entire team. This team is incredibly young, and this is certainly not an Ice Dogs team that we're used to seeing. Enough about the Ice Dogs, let's talk about the Melbourne Ice victory! Yay! Now the big story that came out of the game was that Matt Armstrong scored his 250th regular season AIHL point during the game. Army had 2 goals and 2 assists. And somebody else who managed to pick up 4 points was Tommy Powell. He had 1 goal and 3 assists for the game. And an interesting little stat, both players got all of their points on the same plays. Either Armstrong scored the goal on an assist by Tommy, or Tommy got the goal and there was an assist by Armstrong, or both players assisted on a goal by somebody else. Now with a score like 7-1, you know a lot of players are going to end up on the team sheet here, so just going through quickly some of the others. Liam Webster and Mitch Armstrong both picked up 2 points, a goal and an assist each. And something else that I thought was pretty cool was that we had a couple of D-men jump up and score some goals. Greg Sturrock scored his 18th career AIHL goal. And newcomer and import Paul Kasiba scored his first ever AIHL goal. And you got to admit, it is pretty cool to have a couple of defensemen who are averaging a point per game this season so far. Something I thought was really interesting from the game was that there were no power play goals scored. A lot of people thought Matt Armstrong's goal at 12:25 of the first was a power play goal, but that goal was scored 1 second after the penalty expired. The Ice went 0 for 1 on their power play opportunities, where the Ice Dogs went 0 for 5 when they had the man advantage, and they never really looked settled in their power play. And to me, that was actually a really good indication of where the Ice Dogs really fell apart. They never really looked comfortable against an Ice team that knew its systems very well and knew how to execute on their game plan. The Ice Dogs always looked a little bit lost or unsettled around the net. They weren't really attacking the puck as hard as they should have been. The Ice Dogs looked like they had some skills, but they lacked the confidence in using them against a really well-disciplined Ice team. The Ice Dogs never really spent much time with the puck in the Ice zone, and it was only really due to the efforts of players like Strat Allen and Shannon McGregor that they were really able to put any pressure on Jaden Pine Murphy. Want some goalie stats? I'll give you some goalie stats. Jaden Pine Murphy started in net for the Ice, and he made 16 saves on the 17 shots that he faced for a .941 save percentage. And, well, obviously from the score, he has a 1 goal against average. Matt Grogan, a goalie from Gilbert, Arizona, started for the Ice Dogs. He made 15 saves on the 20 shots that he faced for a .750 save percentage. And he got taken out of the game after giving up the 5th goal. Jake Burgess took over in net, and he made 11 saves on the 13 shots that he faced, giving him an .846 save percentage. Grogan seemed to really struggle behind a defence that hadn't really nailed down all of its systems yet. By the time Burgess had come in, the defence had settled down, they were a little bit more stable, and it made the job a little bit easier for Burgess from what I could see. That said, both goalies did make some really good saves, and once the defence are really organised, they'll have some really good games. The next Melbourne Ice game is on Thursday night. It's a derby against the Mustangs. Derby Day. This game will be a rematch of the 2014 Grand Final. It'll be the first time the two teams have played for AIHL points since that day. The Mustangs are coming off a 13-0 thrashing of the Ice Dogs, so they've certainly got their tails up. The only thing I've got to worry about is that it's a Thursday night game. How can I concentrate at work when I know there's a derby that night?